Hey there, Skullheads. I'm Snags.
And I'm old Silky.
And I'm Alan.
And this week we are going to be talking about the mighty Devo.
Are we not men?
We are DEVO.
Right.
Are we not men?
DEVO.
So basically, this is like I was never a big fan of synth pop drum machine bands at all. There are really a couple that can make it work. Early, that first album by the Cars, and then the first handful of albums from Devo, they just rocked it. They rocked the synthesizer drum machine. They made it work. They wrote so many damn good songs.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Al.
Right off the bat, I want to interrupt because of all the episodes I've done with you guys, this is the oddball. I'm like, how do these guys even like Devo? Just because of, I don't want to throw you guys in a box.
I just like them.
For me,
from
freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is
just latching onto their
record.
Music.
I like freedom of choice a lot. Girl You Want.
Yeah.
And they were. It was eclectic. They do a fantastic cover of I Can't Get Enough Satisfaction.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
I don't think there's a way to hear that and not like that.
Yeah.
And they make the music their own on that one too. But it's just it's a one band from that era that their music stands up still. I'm not rocking Flock of Seagulls right now, but definitely Devo. Still.
Right. Yeah.
Still run that playlist every couple of months, just jamming out.
And the Cars first album is top shelf.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Every song, just fantastic.
So I've been reading this book, Recombo DNA. It's basically a history of Devo up until they got famous. So it starts in the early 70s. A couple things germinated the early history of this band. Gerald Casale was at Kent State University with this cat named Bob Lewis who played guitar. They ran across this religious pamphlet called Jocko Homo Heavenbound. And this is a 1924 anti-evolution pamphlet by this guy named B.H. Shattuck. He was a Methodist minister and a creationist. 32-page booklet. It argues against evolution. It uses the term Jocko Homo, which means ape man, to mock the idea of human descent from primates, portraying evolution as leading to moral decay. It's got illustrations like a devil pointing to his staircase of societal sins. Just typical religious nonsense.
Right. So is this just a man came from man concept?
Well, it's basically it's anti-evolution, right? And so they took it, and it's your typical Christian fundamentalist view of anti-evolution, but it's so hysterical as far as just extreme. They found it entertaining, and they were like, "Yeah, we're anti-evolution too." But what we mean by anti-evolution is that society is devolving instead of evolving, which is, I mean, if you look at the 70s compared to now, it's clearly devolved, right? I mean, there's no argument that society has devolved since the 70s.
No, and
when everybody was laid back and everybody had a sense of humor.
I think most people they're not even alarmed anymore. Yeah. They just want to still stream movies and scroll through.
Bread and circuses, man. Yeah, for sure.
Just scroll through and look at TikTok or whatever.
Right. So it's basically just an observation of the direction in which society was devolving. So they were anti-evolution too, but not. Silky's showing off his Black Sabbath tumbler, which he described in detail in the last episode.
Right?
Yeah, this popped up, and I was trying to buy it, and then it went away. Facebook just updated, and I spent like a day and a half like freaking out, and then I found it. So
yeah, that's important, man. I'm glad you got that.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was about to go on a nationwide killing spree, but
well, so Devo considered themselves a thinking man's Kiss. They basically, as they organized the band, they wanted to wear costumes, have a real choreographed show. They were inspired by Kiss in that matter, and there we got our episode. Every episode we have to mention Kiss, so there it is.
Right. So we don't have to mention it again.
No, we don't. Although I am reading a great book about The Elder, a whole book about their disastrous art rock album, The Elder, which is pretty interesting. But apparently, so Devo guitar, the original Devo guitarist Bob Lewis, he didn't stay with them for long as a guitar player, but he was with them originally in the early days at Kent State. He had a buddy at Kent State who taught him how to play guitar. Who's a unknown cat, but who's pretty hot on the local scene. This guy named Joe Walsh, who went on to do some things. So that was kind of interesting.
Few guitar.
Yeah.
Songs.
Mark Mothersburg, before Devo got going, he was in a band with this local girl named Chrissy Hind. She went and did some stuff also.
See, that reminds me of Steely Dan and Chevy Chase, that connection.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, right. Chevy Chase was almost a drummer for Steely Dan, right?
Yeah. He went on to become Chevy Chase, and
they weren't.
They weren't.
Yeah. So Gerald Casale, who was the Jagger Richards, McCartney Lennon of Devo is Mark Mothersbaugh, I'm sorry, and Gerald Casale. And Gerald Casale and Bob Lewis and Chrissy Hind were among the protesters at Kent State when our government opened fire and killed some of them. And
they even shot at students that were walking, that were nowhere near that crowd.
One of the girls that died was just walking from one class to another in the background. Yeah. That's just, yeah. So, and he basically said, I can tell you that completely and utterly changed my life. Looking around, seeing his friends get mowed down.
I'm sure.
This is Gerald Casale talking about it. I was a white hippie boy, and then I saw exit wounds from M1 rifles out of the backs of two people I knew.
Wow.
The experience led directly to a new way of thinking. He says, I would not have started the idea of Devo unless this had happened. So basically, from their perspective, they were inspired by the surrealists and the Dadaists of the early 20th century, who looked around and saw the madness happening around them, World War I starting up and all that, and they reacted with surreal, absurd reactions. Basically, like you can either
college eccentricity.
Yeah, you can either get militant and go join the Weather Underground and start blowing up buildings, or you can just get weird, like, Hunter S. Thompson did, and, so many other people. Just the world is insane, so your reaction is a reflection of the insanity. And that's...
Yeah, you're Frank Zappa,
Hunter Thompson, William Burroughs. So that's what Devo did.
If I could jump in here, the book music podcast that you referenced, you sent us to. I listened to that.
Just so you know, the book I'm talking about, Recombo DNA, there's a podcast where a couple people are discussing the book, and that's what Beatle Bailey here is about to talk about, that podcast. Go ahead.
Right. I have no idea what their names are, but there was one female, and she said that they were talking about the Kent State incident and how it affected them, and how they must have had PTSD after that. And then she said, Devo is pretty much the musical equivalent of PTSD.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they're PTSD in sonic form. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's everything. Right.
That's funny.
That sums up their whole herky jerky style.
Right.
So Gerald Casale cut his hair, got rid of his hippie clothes, started dressing like the Black Panthers: leather jacket, straight leg jeans, black boots. These guys had friends in the Weather Underground who are out there bombing places. But they went the other way with it. Just as the Dada movement responded to the chaos of its era, Devo mirrored this approach. They picked up the term de-evolution. There was that anti-evolution religious pamphlet, Jocko Homo Heavenbound, and then there's an old Wonder Woman comic where a mad scientist has a machine that causes beings to de-evolve. So he shoots them with a ray or whatever, and they turn from humans into cavemen back to apes.
Yeah, I had that story arc.
Yeah, and so that de-evolution, and also the movie Island of Lost Souls, in which Bela Lugosi says in a plea for their humanity, he's pleading, "Are we not men?" That's where they stole that from. Bela Lugosi's line in Island of Lost Souls.
When you're talking about Kent State, one thing we need to mention, Vietnam was happening. Children were getting shipped off and coming home in body bags, and a huge percentage excuse me, a huge percentage of kids across the nation were like, this isn't right, and they didn't support the war. And the difference was their parents who had come back from World War II, or their grandparents, whatever, they did support the war, and you, right or wrong, you supported your country. And so these people that kind of were suddenly aware, watching the news, watching people getting shot, watching monks set themselves on fire, they were like, this is not right. And so by them standing up, the older generation saw them as anti-American. And so when the dean of Kent State called in the National Guard, these high and tight fuckers with guns viewed everyone that was not wearing a uniform as anti-American. And so when they opened fire, they didn't give a shit. They were just, let's kill these sons of bitches. And that was the attitude.
And it wasn't a healthy disrespect for hippies that the later punk rockers would have, or that even Devo developed. It was just a sociopathic disregard for fellow humanity because they've been brainwashed. Anyways,
and it actually takes on the liberal concept of either believe what I believe or I'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Or the conservative extremists version of the same thing. Yeah. So basically, in 1972, Bob Lewis coined the term Devo. He wrote an article called Devolution for a hit. Yeah, Boogie Boy. Yeah, he comes along in a minute. But Bob Lewis coined the term Devo. He wrote an article on devolution for a hippie paper in Los Angeles called the Los Angeles Staff. Gerald Casale and Bob Lewis moved out there. Casale at this point was also going to parties as Gorge, G-O-R-G.
Swizzle stick.
Nice.
Go ahead.
Casale was going to parties as a character called Gorge. He would wear a leather mask, a butcher jacket, and carry around an enema bag full of milk. and he had a gimp on a leash. So
Oh.
he'd go to these parties as Gorge
Yeah.
with his gimp. Casale and Lewis started playing together. Mark Mothersbaugh was in another band at the time. Mother's Baugh, sorry. And hold on a second. What's up?
How do you spell that? Gorge?
Gorj.
George.
Oh, what is that from?
It's German for George.
Oh, apparently that's German for George. I've been educated. So, Casale's character, yeah.
He'll
and
keep
then
mispronouncing it though, but thank you.
Yeah. So, anyways, Mark Mothersbaugh and Gerald Casale and Bob Lewis, they all team up. They form the Sextet DEVO, 6 musicians. First performances at Kent State Creative Arts Festival, April 18th, 1973. And the lineup for that was Gerald Casale, vocals, bass, guitar. Mark Mothersbaugh, vocals, keyboards. Bob Lewis, guitar. Bob Casale, guitar. So Gerald's brother. Rod Reisman on drums, and a cat named Fred Weber on vocals. So they had a lead vocalist for a second there.
Oh, Fred Weber.
Yeah. I used to be in Devo. That's great, man. Can I get fries with my burger? Thanks, Fred.
Can you hurry it up?
Anyways, so they basically start playing after that, lose the vocalist pretty immediately, start coalescing into what's resembling Devo a bit more. They start intermingling with the punk rock scene. There was actually a show they did with the Dead Boys where their fans started fighting the Dead Boys fans, and then Devo and Stiff Bators get into it, and there was a brawl. Somewhere along the way, they started recording demos, and Iggy and David Bowie are touring. I think Bowie was playing keyboards for Iggy's band for that first album he produced for Iggy. They're going through Ohio. It was on the Idiot. It was the album. They're going through Ohio, and somebody gives them a demo tape, and it's Devo, and they just start obsessively listening to this demo tape. And Iggy and Bowie are just fascinated by this band called Devo, and they have no way to get in touch with them. They don't know who they are. Well, later on, when Devo basically gets their act together, they go to L.A. and start playing some gigs, still unsigned, and they're playing at the Marquee. And Iggy is walking down the street or driving down the street. He sees Devo on the billboard on the Marquee at the Starwood. So they're playing at the Starwood, I'm sorry. And the Marquee above the Starwood says Devo. And he's like, holy crap, that's that band I like. And him and Tony Basil go in to see this band. And they basically love Devo. They start hanging out. Gerald Casale starts banging Tony Basil. And they meet Neil Young, and they get Neil Young's manager, and it all becomes history from there.
That's fantastic.
So their first album, Are We Not Men? We Are Devos, recorded primarily in Cologne, Germany, produced by Brian Eno with assistance from David Bowie. Bowie and Eno were competing over who got to produce that album, and Bowie's schedule was more busy, so Eno won out. They had earlier recorded indie punk rock versions of Mongoloid and Satisfaction. They re-recorded those for this first album. And it led to, they basically, Eno wanted them to be a little bit more melodic, so there's a bit of a clash there. But he basically invested $40,000 in this album and said, we're going to record this album, and then it'll be easier for you to get a deal because you'll have a full recorded album. They got a great deal with Warner Brothers out of it, and it reached number 12 in the UK, number 78 in the US. So that's basically how they got. And along the way, before they did the album, they did a short film called "The Truth About De-Evolution," which was you can find that on YouTube, and it's just them running around playing some songs and running around acting weird. But that got played at a lot of punk rock clubs and stuff, so that put them on the map a little bit as well.
Yeah, my older brother had just gone into college when they released that album, and otherwise I wouldn't. That was my introduction to Devo. They weren't being played on the radio,
Right?
and he brought that album home from college, and when I heard Jocko Homo and Satisfaction, it just like blew my mind. Like, this is crazy shit. This is like robot music or something, but I love it.
Robot music, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw them do "I Can't Get No Satisfaction" on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever that was, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and this first album, I mean, it's just solid. Uncontrollable Urge, Satisfaction, Mongoloid, Jocko Homo, Come Back Joni. Just a solid album. My cutoff with Devo is up to "Oh No, It's Devo" 1982. So I really like the first 5 albums.
I agree 100%. Yep.
Yeah. And they basically solidified into a classic lineup. Let me read off the classic lineup here. So basically Mark and Gerald both had brothers named Bob. So you had Bob 1 and Bob 2 that ended up being in the classic lineup. You had Gerald Casale on vocals, bass, and keyboards. Mark Mothersbaugh on vocals, keyboards, guitar. Bob Mothersbaugh, guitar, backing vocals. Bob Casale, guitar, keyboards, backing vocals. So the 2 guitarists were the Bob 1 and Bob 2. They were the brothers. And then Alan Myers on drums. Alan Myers was a very accomplished jazz drummer. And when he joined, it really, really tightened up the band. Before that, Jim Mothersbaugh, another Mothersbaugh brother, was in the band on electronic drums. And he was experimenting a lot with electronic drums in the 70s when you couldn't go out and buy an electronic drum kit. He was making his own homemade electronic drums. His counterpart in Kraftwerk over in Germany was doing the same thing. They were kind of pioneers in that. Alan Myers was a conventional drummer. He not as much into electronic drums, but that classic lineup from 76 to 84, Alan Myers was providing the backbeat, and he was a large part of the reason why they rocked so much. He ended up leaving because around 84 they started going back to more and more electronic drum sounds, and he just wasn't his style.
Yep.
But so the second album after Are We Not Men, We Are Devo is Duty Now for the Future. Another just solid album. Devo corporate anthem, Wiggly World, Secret Agent Man, Smart Patrol, Mr. DNA, freaking rocks. Just good stuff all around. Any thoughts on that album, either of you?
Good. It didn't capture me as much as Are We Not Men, but it's good.
Then the big classic album, Freedom of Choice, is next. Just loaded. Girl You Want. Soundgarden does a killer cover of Girl You Want.
Yeah, that's the album that really grabbed me, where I played the living hell out of that album.
Yeah, I think Girl You Want is probably my number 1 or 1A.
Yeah, it was fun to sing at the top of. I was singing that at the top of my lungs today at work, treating my coworkers to my vocal talent.
So the collection that I showed you, listening music easy listening music, those were fan club only cassette releases. But the little collection I've got, there's a poster, but the backside is the liner notes,
Mhm.
and there's a recipe. So you get the energy dome, the plastic hat that they would wear.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get that. You turn it upside down or topside down, and you get 2 packages of lime jello, 6-ounce boxes, 8 cups of still mineral water, 1.5 cups of top shelf anejo or reposado tequila, and a half cup of Cointreau. And then you put the energy dome in the freezer an hour prior to making the Devo low, instead of Jello. You pour the 2 packages of Jello into the mixing bowl, add to tequila, Cointreau, stir until the powder becomes a thick paste. Stir the 2 cups of boiling water until the liquid is consistent. Add 6 cups of chilled mineral water and stir with a whisk. Then you put the red dome, pull that out of the freezer, pour the entire liquid mix into the dome, and then refrigerate until it sets like Jello. Then you're going to put that on a serving plate and shake that over the plate, applying pressure, and then it plops down onto the plate. And then put on this easy listening Muzak collection and spoon your gelatinous punch till you're hammered.
Oh
So.
my God.
Now we know that. So back to freedom of choice. So you have girl you have girl you want. You got Whip It. You know, the big signature tune.
Yep.
Freedom
The breakthrough track.
Yeah. Freedom of Choice, which is a killer song. Gates of Steel, killer song. That's Pep, Planet Earth. Mr. B's Ballroom. I mean, that's just a solid album.
Great record.
Yeah. Now the next one, you cats can't see this because this is a sound only podcast, but Beetle Bailey has a copy of this album behind him.
Cool.
The vinyl New Traditionalist. Now tell them about the order form you found inside this album.
So it came, with this order form, and it's got about 20 items you could buy.
Nice.
Like the action vest, a t-shirt, New Traditionalist t-shirt, a hat pin, the yellow suit, a flicker button, 3D glasses, energy dome.
Wow.
They really
1982.
This came out in 81, September of 81.
Okay.
One of the items you could buy is the Devo Easy Listening cassette, which you mentioned.
There you go.
For $4.50.
So they really were modeling themselves after Kiss. I mean, you get an album, and there's a whole catalog of stuff you can spend money on in there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I didn't. But there's all sorts of. This also came with. See the sticker. Some douchebag, instead of putting the sticker on the cellophane, put it on the goddamn album cover. See that?
Man, that ruins everything.
Because it comes with a bonus single, Working in the Coal Mine.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
Yeah, killer song.
And even better, see how it's a 45, but it's got the 33 RPM tiny hole.
Yeah.
You don't need the adapter.
Yeah, you can throw your adapter. You can get your adapter off the goddamn turntable. And just put that right on
Yeah. Well, though, I think that because since there's a sticker on there, Alan, I think you should just kill yourself because that ruins everything.
It just ruins everything. Yeah.
So this album's got some great tunes on it. Through Being Cool, Jerking Back and Forth, Race of Doom, Beautiful World, which is a killer song. Yeah. Working in the Coal Mine was a B-side. It's a bonus track on some editions of the album. Essential Devo tune.
That's a great tune.
Yeah.
Gotta have that.
And then Oh No, It's Devo, which is the end of my Devo playlist is this album. This one has Peekaboo, which is a killer song. That's Good, which is a killer song. Big Mess. It's a big mess.
This album came out when I was a junior in high school, and I remember that because it's burned into my brain. I had a friend who was an absolute Devo freak.
Right.
With this album came out, we sat to get next to each other in the back of the room in social studies class, and every day he would sing Peekaboo to me.
Wow. I can see you.
And I would just die. I'm trying not to laugh, get in trouble. He would not let go every single day. I mean, it was great. You know, it's a great memory. It was funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, Devo shared some. There are a couple kind of bands that shared some characteristics with Devo. I wanted to talk about a little bit. One is Kraftwerk. They're probably most famous for being sent up in The Big Lebowski as Autobahn, which was a techno band that conspires with Bunny Lebowski to kidnap herself. They were based on Traffic. I mean, on Kraftwerk. Yeah. They were the nihilists in The Big Lebowski. Kraftwerk was one of the early kind of synth pop bands formed in the early 70s. Like I said, their drummer was experimenting with electronic drum machines at the same time that Jim Mothersbaugh was with Devo. Fascination with technology, modernity, man-machine relationship, that kind of stuff. They had a similar kind of visual aesthetic. They'd all dress in matching uniforms and stuff. I think the difference between Kraftwerk and Devo, though, is the songwriting. Like, Devo really wrote some rockin' songs. But both Gerald Casale and Mark Mothersbaugh played in like blues rock bands before they started Devo, so there was always that kind of rockin' undercurrent that you don't really get with Kraftwerk.
Oh.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Alan? Kraftwerk and Devo crossover before I go to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see the similarities, but two completely different moods.
Yeah, for sure.
I never listened to Kraftwerk.
Yeah, I've tried and I can't stick with it.
So actually, on each Kraftwerk album, there's a series of silent parts,
and those are the parts you like. Yeah, between the songs.
I do. That appealed to me.
Like REM.
They do the same. Yeah.
They got the best silent bits in the biz.
Yeah, and when the needle comes off the record, and you're like, God damn, that sounds good right there. That's
the other band that was doing weird avant-garde stuff in this kind of herky-jerky style around the same time as the Residents. They've got some similarities with the Residents, similar experimental and avant-garde approach.
Are they the ones with the big eyeball guy?
Yeah, the big eyeballs. Yeah,
absolutely. There's a much more similarities between the Residents and Devo than Kraftwerk.
Yeah. I think Kraftwerk is more on the pioneering of the electronic drum machine and synthesizer stuff. But as far as just absurdist approaches to music, the Residents definitely are more brothers in arms. Sure. They both started with multimedia approaches. Residents embrace and draw from film and visual art and surrealism just as much as Devo did. The Residents are kind of like Kiss was in the 70s. Nobody knows what they look like. They're always in disguises and masks and stuff like that. But they both had a lot of satirical and social commentary going on, Devo and the Residents. The Residents pioneered video art and multimedia performances. They're actually tried to film a feature film early on, didn't really get off the ground. And the live performances, Devo and the Residents both had very theatrical live performances, and both had a big influence on new wave and punk music for sure. And both have fanatical cult followings as well. say.
So on the playlist that I made for this episode, it's called De-Evolution. There's 6 bonus tracks at the very end from the New Traditionalists. A song called Nutra Speaks, One Dumb Thing, Modern Life, Faster and Faster, Psychology of Desire, a demo, and then It's a Beautiful World, the easy listening version. Again, from this
nice.
collection here.
Yep.
They so a couple stories from Devo's early years. They had one gig where they opened for Sun Ra.
Oh, wicked.
And apparently they kept playing past their allotted time and drove a lot of the audience away until they were basically physically forced off the stage.
That's great.
The movie they did is 1976. They're actually about to break up because they're pretty much just playing in Ohio, playing all these places where people didn't want to hear them. They're too weird. A lot of people were just not into it. And they had a friend named Chuck Statler who's like, let's make before you guys break up, let's make a short film. So they made a short film. In the Beginning Was the End. The Truth About De-Evolution is a 9-minute short film. It's basically an introduction to the concept of de-evolution. The film features 2 songs, Secret Agent Man and Jocko Homo, interwoven with bizarre visuals, including factory workers. The debut of not the stage debut, but the film debut of the childlike character Bougie Boy or Boogie Boy, and his father, General Boy, who was played by Robert Mothersbaugh Sr. Mark Mothersbaugh's dad plays General Boy in here. Delivering the proclamation that every man, woman, and mutant on this planet shall know the truth about de-evolution. Shot in a low budget, it won first prize at the 1977 Ann Arbor Film Festival. And it got played at a lot of punk rock clubs and midnight movie showings and stuff like that. That started to get the word out about them as well. Another tie-in they have with is the Church of the Subgenius, which is a parody religion founded by Ivan Stang and Philo Drummond. The relationship was rooted in shared countercultural sensibilities and a mutual embrace of absurdity. So these people in this kind of mock religion are basically got fascinated with the concept of de-evolution and Devo. And you can see, I think it's in that film. I looked this up because you can see, do you know who Bob Dobbs is, Alan?
No, I don't.
There's this character that smokes a pipe, looks like this square guy that smokes a pipe, and you'll see him spray painted on buildings and stuff every now and then. He's kind of like the central figure of the Church of the Subgenius, which is a parody religion. Well, I saw him on the wall. I know this because my dad was a hippie and was into all this shit. But I saw him on the wall in that Devo film or one of their videos. I forget where. So I look it up, and sure enough, there's this big crossover. All these people that are into the Church of the Subgenius are big into Devo. So, and let's see, 1924, a documentary was released called Devo by Chris Smith. It's hit the film festival circuit. It is not released to any streaming services yet, but it's got never before seen archival footage, interviews with all the band members, supposedly a killer documentary, and it's just called Devo in all caps. So got to keep an eye out for that.
You said it came out in 1924, though.
It hit 2024.
Okay.
1924. Yeah, that would have been cool if they discovered an old silent film about Devo from 1924.
Yeah. Mark Mothersbaugh was in a children's show called Yo Gabba Gabba, and I sent each of you a snippet. He did this throughout the series, and it was called Mark's Magic Pictures. And he would come on. I sent you the one about the elephant, and it's literally that. You watch him, he talks to the kids, he draws an elephant, but there's a level of hilarity in it. I assume for the dad who's sitting there with his 3-year-old going, "Holy shit, that's the dude from Devo."
Nice.
But I sent you a thing, and you can put that on the Devo click pit. But you guys can check that out in the email. It's humorous.
Oh, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
So after Oh No, It's Devo, the band's 6th album, Shout, comes out. This it's a less rockin' sound. They really overuse a sampling synthesizer on this album. It's got a kind of a crappy cover of Are You Experienced. It was criticized by people. It just didn't have the songwriting and the rockin' essence of their earlier stuff. And so Alan Myers, the drummer I was talking about, leaves the band because they're using too many drum machines. Warner Brothers buys out the rest of their contract. In the interim, Mark Mothersbaugh starts composing music for Pee-wee's Playhouse, and that actually, and then he releases the Muzak for Insomniacs thing, which was spearheaded by them, almost kind of a solo thing. And then they reform in '87 with another drummer, David Kendrick. They do Total Devo.
Never heard this album.
Yeah, and smooth noodle maps. They're just lost, kind of flailing around, doing shit that nobody's listening to. They're broken up from 91 to 96. And then 96, they perform a reunion concert at the Sundance Film Festival, and then they get invited onto Lollapalooza tour. And so they kind of reform for that, doing that for a while. And then they've been kind of off and on since then. The session drummer, former Vandals drummer, Josh, what's his last name? Freese? Hold on a second. Josh Freese plays drums for them now. Bob Casale passed away, so they got a cat named Josh Hager on guitar, Josh Freese on drums, Bob Mothersbaugh still on guitar, Mark Mothersbaugh still on vocals, Gerald Casale still on vocals. There's actually a good concert film of them doing a lot of their early stuff that they that Rarities album. You got a lot of that on the playlist, Silky.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff they did before they got signed. And so they actually do a concert where they are, it's this current lineup doing all those old first record songs on a set that looks like the basement they used to rehearse in. So that's pretty cool.
That's tremendous.
That's a cool concert to watch. But I don't know. Where are we? 45 minutes in. That's what I got on Devo.
My playlist went to the Shout album, and it's funny. It's odd to see that the New Traditionalist was like 1982, and they were pretty much wrapped up and done by 82.
Yeah.
Oh no, It's Devo is a solid album, but that was it. Yeah. That was it. The concert I was talking about is called Unseen Origins. It's on YouTube. I'll include the link in the click pit for that. It's pretty cool.
No, it's just interesting to see that they were pretty much wrapped up by 82, and then in 82, so many other things were going on. me personally, at the age of 11 and 12, I was completely wrapped up in the NWABM movement, the new wave of British heavy metal stuff, and there was just no turning back. And it's just funny that kind of punk, like you heard Elvis Costello, he had some great, those first two records of his, Devo, Blondie was on the radio. So you had all that, I guess the new version of what punk was, with the
new wave was the corporatized version.
Yeah. And you can throw Devo in with the new wave thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Punk with nice clothes on.
Sure.
Yeah. Add a little synthesizers to the sound.
David Bowie had a lot of stuff at that point. It was the whole movement. And I think you could easily drop Devo into that whole crowd, but they stood out. They were very different.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I think what it comes down to is the songwriting. And I agree with you. I was at that age, I'm focused on metal and punk. I was pretty much, those are my two genres, and classic rock.
It still permeates. I'm wearing my Number of the Beast raglan, and you've got a Misfits shirt on.
I've got a Misfits shirt on. Yeah. I do have a Devo t-shirt. I just couldn't find it for tonight.
If I had a t-shirt of the "Oh No, It's Devo," I would wear that.
Yeah.
That's a great cover.
Or even you could go back to the first or the second album, the with all the barcodes on it and stuff. That'd be a cool shirt.
I think where you and I both started going back and re-embracing some of these bands that we weren't like, neither you and I in the 80s were huge Police fans, right? But then I
had Synchronicity, and
I knew you in the 80s, and I never heard you talk about the Police.
Yeah, but this was before when Synchronicity was out. When was that? 82? 84?
83.
83.
Yeah.
So in 83, before I knew you, Every Breath You Take was on the radio every 5 seconds.
It was constant. Yeah,
it was constant, and I was obsessed with that song. I just loved it. I love the idea that it was some stalker watching this girl, and I got it. And what's funny is people play that at their wedding.
Oh yeah,
they don't just no idea. No idea. It's like there's a Green Day song too that they'll play the fuck out of at weddings, and it's a total sarcastic fuck off song,
So when I met you, we never talked about the Police, not once, and basically in the 90s, I think is when you and I started going back and reassessing some of these songs that we weren't like, some of these bands in the 80s that we kind of didn't do deep dives on.
The obsession with metal had kind of run its course. Not that you turned your back on the genre, but your major players were.
What you had was a lot of the bands we were following, like Soundgarden, are like, check out this cool Devo song. And so a lot of these grunge bands, they liked all these, they liked the Talking Heads, they liked the Police, they liked Devo. And so you and I start going back and taking those cues and reassessing.
It's always cool when a band you get into covers a song that you liked as a kid, and you're like, oh fuck. And
that was part of your soundtrack. And these bands were all over. I got dragged to see Stop Making Sense when I was 15 by my mom and her hipster boyfriend.
And I hated Talking Heads so hard.
I didn't
through that. We were so at the Masquerade downstairs there was a movie theater.
Right.
And I wanted to see the new Mad Max movie, Beyond Thunderdome. And that was playing in like Theater 1, but in Theater 2 was Stop Making Sense. And so we got dragged in there. They did not tell me that we were going to see Stop Making Sense. So we go in, we sit down, my dad and Frank. Do you remember Frank?
Yeah.
Dad's roommate. So they're sitting there drinking beers, and the movie comes on, and it's fucking Talking Heads. And I sat there just furious. One song after another. Here's Dave with this big ass shoulder pad jacket on, and I'm just like, kill me, trying to swallow my own tongue as we're hearing each song. And it's funny is I can listen to Talking Heads now and actually enjoy those songs.
That is the movie that got me into them. Like I didn't hate them, but they were just one of those bands that the preppy kids at school listened to.
Oh, I wanted to put them in a rocket and send them to the sun after seeing
the preppy kids at school were all listening to Talking Heads, Police, and all this stuff. But I get dragged to see this movie, and I'm like, holy crap, this band rocks. And then I got into Talking Heads after that.
Yeah.
There's a great book called Remain in Love by Chris France, who was the drummer for the Talking Heads, and doesn't paint that flattering a portrait of David Byrne. Kind of paints him out to be a bit of a sociopath and a climber, you know. Stealing song credits and just using the band as a vehicle to get a solo deal, and stuff like that.
That Road to Nowhere album was so fucking good. Whatever that was.
Yeah. I think he's a lot like Sting, and that, you know,
absolutely.
He had a great band and did all his best work when he had those people around him, and now he's off just wanking off, basically, like Roger Waters. Roger Waters is another one.
We do the Freddie Mercury.
Did you know Roger's dad died in the war?
I heard his father died. Never knew him. A lot of tears. The Freddie Mercury thing, where
Freddie Mercury, same thing. Yeah, same
where
thing.
You spearhead a band. You are the brilliance. You're the flame.
You know who never did that, and I hate the band, and I know you do too, is Bono. Bono never did the solo.
He never went off and did the solo thing. Yeah.
And maybe he should have.
Yeah. If he would just go off, I'd be fine. You just keep going. There he goes.
I really like what he has to say other than the music. Like, I really want to hear his sermons to everybody, and how we should live.
So
I can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
He's being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I want to hear from everybody who's making movies or music. I want them to tell me how I should live my life,
who I should follow.
Yeah.
If they would email me and tell me what T-shirt I need to wear, then I don't have to decide in the morning.
Tell me which vegetables to eat. That would be helpful.
But just to wrap up the Devo, this easy listening, they did this as a self-parody to Cheese themselves, where they're doing like really schmaltzy versions of their own songs, and that's what this was about. The collectability of it just grabbed me like a vice. I had to track this down.
That is really cool.
Oh, you gotta have it, man. It was only available on cassette. Yeah.
Once I found it was cassette only, and you could get it as a special with a swizzle stick and a button.
Did it have a rubber? Did it have a rubber snake?
No, it's got a bougie boy button for president, though. I showed.
But
Alan.
No rubber snake.
No. But it has the bougie boy for president.
That's beautiful.
Button.
I know, but dude, there's no rubber snake.
And then there's no rubber snake, but
does it have a propeller hat?
Well, this is as close to the propeller hat. It's the swizzle stick.
There you go.
And then some directions for cocktails. And then I did give you the Jello.
Yeah.
recipe. Yeah,
That's
The Jello
important.
recipe.
I'm glad we got that whole thing on
Well,
tape.
exactly. If you're gonna make the Jello, you need
The recipe.
You need to have the easy listening music collection.
Yep,
So,
for sure.
Anyway, so that's Devo, kids.
That's Devo. Yeah.
Check out the de-evolution playlist. It's filled with rare bullshit. They cover Ohio.
That's a great cover. Yeah, that's a really good cover.
And they do a thing with Neil Young, the Hey Hey My Into the Black with Devo. So that's in there.
I think in retrospect, they started hanging out with Neil Young to finish that story after they meet Iggy Pop, and they end up going with Neil Young's manager. And in retrospect, Neil Young's album Trans, which is his foray into new wave,
76.
No,
it's like 80 or 81 or
81
something.
or something. Yeah.
That has got to be directly inspired by Devo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But anyways, we've got a cornucopia of great stuff scheduled out till September.
Late September, kids.
Late September, we've got just nonstop awesomeness coming up, and we'll have more. We got Alan will be back with us for a wrestling episode in late August, so we got all kinds of cool stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. We need to mention though, we got hit pretty hard. Chuck Mangione died.
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, come on, Jesus.
No, I'm serious. He passed.
And then Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosby Show, that hit me the hardest, man. How are you gonna live in a world without Malcolm Jamal Warner?
He went swimming, and that undertow is no fucking joke.
He did. He drowned and
a flugelhorn.
Are you going to hit us with the little Chuck Mangione?
Yeah, it feels so good. I cannot hit the high notes. No.
Oh, come on, man!
I would feel so good if you played that.
Oh man,
play some Chuck Mangione for us, man.
I can. Yeah. I can.
Yeah, let's just get a little bit of. Let's get a little Alan Bailey on the flugelhorn here before we wrap it up.
Yeah,
that was beautiful. That brought tears. Oh.
There it is.
Nice. That's Alan clearing a room with a beer fart, everybody.
That's it. That was not Chuck Mangione.
No.
That was Beatle Bailey.
That was pouring out my beer for Chuck right there.
That was Beatle Bailey. Yeah.
And we lost Hulk Hogan.
The Hulkster. He died of chronic Hulkamania, apparently.
Now, the rumor is that Ozzy died and he went and killed Hulk Hogan, but I don't know. I can't.
He brought him with him.
Yeah.
I can't
well,
say.
those two were tight. They spent a lot of time in bars raising hell together. So
yeah. So we're. I think are we doing just wrestling in general or just the Nature Boy? I thought
we're doing whatever you cats want. I'm gonna be just along for the ride on that one. Y'all are the wrestling fans, so however you want to.
It should probably be like a north-south kind of thing because I didn't even know Ric Flair until we got cable TV in the early '80s and we got TBS.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, down in Atlanta, you had TBS. That was the only channel you had, so you saw all that shit.
So I didn't even.
You watched the Braves, the Hawks, and wrestling on TBS.
Yeah, and you liked it.
Yeah, it was great. But it was like a whole new other wrestling world opened up to us.
Wow. Yeah. So we got to hear about that.
Yeah.
All right. So this is and this is a special preview for you kids out there in podcast land. So Alan, you do the history of the Northern wrestling scene, and old Silky will do Nature Boy, Ric Flair,
and
whatever
that
the
whole
hell.
area. But it was very much like these small little pockets of characters all the way out to Hawaii.
There you go. Yeah, and beyond. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, kids. Beetle Bailey wants you give us some last words on Devo before we wrap this up.
Wow, just a really unique band. Like I said, it just sounds like robot music to me. If robots were to create music, that's Devo.
There you go. If robots could when the Tesla robots form a band, it's going to sound almost as good as Devo.
Almost as good. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. And if this were a radio show, we would go out to She's Just a Girl, that keyboard going, and
just a girl, the girl you want.
Good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Everybody imagine that tune as we're signing off here. Peace out.
No. You got it. Go ahead.
Deuces.
Deuces.